is given that they raise objections over voter lists all the time, either during or after elections. Recent fight over Maharashtra verdict is case in point, where the Congress party has gone to the extreme lengths to accuse the Election Commission of India of errors of omission and commission to favour the BJP. So why are they objecting to Election Commission actually combing through the rolls for Bihar? That's because they fear their voters will not be able to verify that they are Indian citizens. Isn't that a damning confession to make? The EC has actually not left this to imagination that the list needs to be revised due to rampant illegal immigration from countries like Nepal, Bangladesh and Myanmar. The question only is, why should anyone object to this? This is a repeat of the fraudulent anti-NRC campaign combined with anti-CAA at that time, which exposed how even mainstream political interests don't want to fight illegal immigration. We are not alone though as far as this politics is concerned. This is also playing out in the US, for example, where US citizens and political parties are actively blocking ICE agents from repatriating illegals and aliens. Why is it that liberal and even secular politics globally is seen at odds with laws of your own country? Well, that's the larger global debate, but here in India, why is it that political parties are actively blocking any attempts to rationalize and streamline electoral processes, keeping them in the 20th century? We'll take that up and more with our guest joining us in just a bit. First up, why is this process being undertaken and what is this process exactly? Let me break that down for you. Step one is that a pre-filled enumeration form is going to be distributed to voters. In fact, this has already been done. Step 2 is that the forms have to be filled with photos, epic number and other personal details by the electorate. Booth level officers will then collect forms. They will go door to door to every voter and they will collect the forms and documents subsequently. Existing voters and applicants can even upload documents on the ECI Net app, and those who are travelling, those who are outside, away from the state can also do this. Step 5 is that the forms will then be scrutinized and a field inquiry will be conducted in case of doubts. Now, at the heart of the Election Commission's special revision in Bihar is its instruction that any person whose name is not recorded in the 2003 electoral roll, an estimated 2.93 crore individuals need to submit at least one of the 11 documents establishing eligibility to vote. So what are these documents? First up, any identity card or pension payment order that has been issued to them, any identity card certificate issued by the local government or the local authorities, birth certificate by a competent authority, passport issued by the Ministry of External Affairs, matriculation educational certificates that are issued by recognized boards, permanent residence certificates that are issued by a competent authority, forest rights certificate. These are of course more for tribals and scheduled tribes. The Gram Sabha initiates the process for determining the nature and extent of an individual or community forest rights. OBC, SC, ST or any other caste certificate that has been issued by a competent authority. Family register prepared by state or local authorities. Any land house allotment certificate by government. So there's actually a wide variety of documents that you can provide. So why is this such a big issue? With opposition doubling down on the Election Commission's revision, the face-off is only raging on. Let me bring to you what each political party is saying. Several of the representatives are meeting the Election Commission as well. So the AIMIM, whose leader Asaduddin Owaisi has met the Election Commission, says that in case people are not able to provide the necessary documents, they will not only miss their vote but will also face livelihood issues. The Election Commission, of course, has mentioned that the crackdown is absolutely necessary, needed in light of illegal immigrants that have come from countries and continue to pose a threat to Indian democracy. Frankly, there cannot be any argument that we should be lax on this issue. The RJD, the main political party in Bihar, says that stakeholders were not consulted before taking this decision. Of course, the Election Commission has talked about how this is a standard process. Why is everything being politicized only now? This used to happen 20 years ago. The Election Commission has also said that actually more than half of the voters who already have their names in the electoral rolls, they've already submitted their forms. They don't have to do much else. They don't have to give any documents. All they have to do, that they have to just give their forms back as far as this process is concerned. The Congress has called the decision to revise electoral rolls in Bihar a devious and dubious effort to willfully exclude voters. Why would anybody want to do that? The poll body has clarified its stance. It says that it is needed to act before Bihar elections because some political parties, hint to the Congress party itself, question the results and alleged voter fraud for Maharashtra elections. TMC has likened the decision to NRC exercise, which they are for some reason opposed to. They say that this is aiming at West Bengal next because that's the next big state that goes to polls next year. The Election Commission has said that this role exercise only aims to restore the trust of public and political parties, and they should really be on board with this. CPM, Left Party, has also alleged that 1 month is not enough time to carry out this exercise. Now, that may well be founded out of some concerns. The poll body, though, has said that the decision is in accordance with Article 326 and it assures adult suffrage, that nobody will be left out. Anybody who's eligible to vote will be allowed to vote. But certainly that can't be an excuse for letting people who cannot verify themselves on the electoral rolls. The ECI has not only tried to allay these fears of the political parties, but has also been very categorical in stating that the revision is absolutely necessary. Firstly, it has clarified that while no change has been made in the SIR orders from June, the only strict condition is, right now, that for you to be included in the draft rules, you have to submit the enumeration form back, which has already been distributed to all existing voters in Bihar. That's what the Election Commission is saying. Those who are travelling can fill the enumeration forms online, so that worry is also taken care of. Necessary documents to prove eligibility as per Article 326 can always be submitted after July 25 as well, if the worry is that 1 month is not enough. In fact, this can be done during the claims and objection period thereafter. There is a month time provided for that as well. The ECI maintains that the process is actually progressing smoothly, as all voters have been directly made aware through 77,000 plus booth level officers, 4 lakh volunteers. In fact, 1.5 lakh BLAs are appointed by political parties themselves. So the big question we're asking today is only this: will these ECI assurances be enough, or is there more when political parties are taking an objection to this series of the revision of the electoral rolls? That's coming up.
Actually, I have been saying it's not a mechanism of inclusion, blatant exclusion.
ये जो भी एक्सरसाइज उन्होंने किया है, इसका कोई लॉ से नहीं निकल रहा है. इट इज प्योरली एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव लॉ के तहत किया, तो इसका भी मैलाफाइडे उसमें होता है.
इलेक्शन कमीशन का जो फैसला है क्वालिटी पुअर है, जो बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन है उनके खिलाफ है.
Let's go across to our guest joining us, RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, Sham Kumar, spokesperson of the RJD, Adil Hassan from the AIMIM will be with us shortly, and Amitabh Tiwari's election strategist also with us. Sham Kumar, I want to begin with you. The Election Commission is rightfully conducting this exercise. It has to do it. It's duty bound to do it. I'm not quite understanding why the opposition parties are politicizing this issue. If the concern only is about time, fair enough, we can obviously discuss that. Election body also has to be sensitive to those issues. But there are some political motives being assigned as far as this exercise is concerned. Is that fair?
No, actually, with my all due respect to the Election Commission of India, that I think they must revisit the decision taken to conduct SIR. There is not only one issue with regard to the time. I think that if Election Commission could have looked at the ground realities of Bihar, I mean geography, migration, poverty and demography, the decision could have been something different. I mean people have gone to other states, particularly Punjab, for paddy plantation work. Their schedule have been already fixed. They are people at bottom. They are not well off people. So they can't return immediately like others. So what is only about time? It is not only matter of time. It is there are multiple factors responsible. Why
So-
we are regularly speaking to revisit the decision taken by ECI to conduct. It seems so smooth, but it is not smooth on the ground.
Okay.
That it is, you see the monsoon has already arrived. What is the climatic condition of the different geographical condition of Bihar, you are aware. People who have gone to other state, they are working, they are scattered, not one state. So it is correlated with the political economy of the state as well. So there are multiple factors and they do not have all documents at the time. So it is not only the matter of one particular factor, there are multi-level factors are responsible. We are demanding why there is so hurry.
No, but
These people have voted in the just one year back in the Lok Sabha election. And what is a hurry point?
No, every time an exercise is conducted, the question cannot be asked is what is the hurry? The question cannot be what is the need. The problem here is that it seems like we don't want to streamline certain processes. It's like a chalta hai rehne do wala attitude. It's helps certain individuals, it helps certain parties. It seems like that is what is going on here. We have to streamline the processes. We have to advance the processes. It's not just about the checks and balances that existed. With time, with technology, with people also trying to hoodwink the system, the agencies also have to be one step further. I'll come back to you, Mr. Kumar. Adil Hassan of the AIMIM is also joining us. For often the issue is always made about a certain demography. Even RJD spokesperson talked about it. I'm not understanding what demography has to do with this.
Ma'am, we are not opposing the SIR. We are just talking about the timing, because Bihar got highest number of migration in the country. In 71% majority of from the Bihar in the migration are Biharis. In Punjab, in Haryana, you can go for in the July month paddy crop, and in every part of the country you will find the resident of Bihar. So Bihar are the capital of democracy. We want participation of every person. But why not all party meeting was called? Who gave you the report? Which DM, which Home Secretary gave you the report that we have illegal migrants? What about 2024 election? Why not? What about 24? And from the October to January, you went for electoral revision. In June only, from the Dehri Assembly in Bihar, you accepted more than 20,000 voters. Why not all political party meeting was called? We requested, we don't have any problem with SIR. My concern is that Himachal is the most flood-prone zone. Devastating flood we face. Migration is highest. In passport, we have only 2% of Bihar residents have passport. In birth certificate, before 1990, only 2% before birth certificate available as per Bihar government record. In 2003, only 10% Bihar resident, 10.3% Bihar resident got birth certificate. In 2010, we have only 13%. Now we have only 16%. Now national average is more than 60%. BLO, they don't have handbook how to do, what to do. Election Commission is an autonomous body. Election Commission should consult every person. In April only they had a meeting with all political parties. Why not SIR was discussed? In June, why not it was discussed? In January, why not it was discussed? Why before the assembly election? In last assembly election in 2003, the assembly election was due for 2 years. Lok Sabha was due for 1 year. You should discuss this thing. Why Election Commission is in hurry? We don't have any. What you are making the facility for the migrant labor? What you are for the flood-prone zone? The Sawan month is coming. People will go for the Kanwar Yatra. Why only Bihar? The graduate literacy is only 14.3%. So we should Election Commission have to take confidence of all the people. My leader requested that all DM should be instructed that give the residential certificate, all the necessary certificate as soon as possible. The Election Commission is the autonomous body. It should take confidence of every political party, whether it's small or opposition or.
But what we have also witnessed recently is that regardless of what the Election Commission says, there is politics done on it. I mean, you look at what happened as far as electoral rolls in Maharashtra is concerned, the last big state to go for elections. Look at what happened. Congress party is saying that, this is a devious attempt to leave out certain eligible voters. TMC is saying this is NRC by another name. Now, if you're going to politicize everything that the Election Commission does, so surely the Election Commission doesn't have to explain itself for everything as well, because there will be objections raised on everything. I'm not talking about your party alone. Adil Hassan, I'm not talking about your party alone, but look at what all other parties are saying. If you vitiate the atmosphere so much that you cast doubts on anything that the Election Commission says, you call them, bogus, or you call them favoring a political party, you allege that they are working at the behest of a certain political party, then where is the route left for any meaningful discussion? But let me bring in Mr. Singh.
One second.
Yes.
One second. My concern is that Election Commission should take confidence of all the political parties. We have all faith on Election Commission of the
You're
India.
saying you have all the faith, but certainly other political parties have not expressed it in that manner. That's all I'm saying.
Why are they in hurry? Why
are they in a hurry? That's a standard question being asked. And I said, Adil Hassan, at the start of the show, that if the objection is only about the amount of time available, sure, that discussion can be held. The Election Commission can do more to assuage the fears of the public plus the political parties on whether the timing is enough.
But the way of implementation is wrong.
Okay. I'll be saying you've heard what various political parties have been saying. Why is the need to do this at this last stage? This could have been prepared in advance. Advance notice could have been given to the electorate of Bihar.
शिवानी, जैसे सेइंग इन पंजाबी, आटा गुंदी हिल्दी क्यों है? I mean, when a woman prepares food, why does she move so much? And Election Commission is bound by the responsibility which has been given to Election Commission as per law. And there's nothing new. I mean, they are talking about this. Earlier it happened in the same period, same 31 days it happened, and in that time there was not this much of technology, almost 20 years back. But now they have to create a hue and cry out of this. And also my friend from AIM need to tell me, recently the Telangana election happened. There were 5.41 lakh, if I rightly remember, voters were deleted from the Hyderabad list, and then OIC have welcomed, and he won the election thereafter also, and he welcomed it also. In Telangana, overall, something like 22 lakh voters were deleted, but in the same process, and they welcomed it because they won the election. So, problem is that they can see what's coming in future, so they are trying to build up that now, so that when they lose election, they can have some ground and some face to put to public, and some face to take forward, saying that, oh, we lost because there was something wrong, some big mangling which has happened in the process of Election Commission. And also, this process, when completed, will tell you how much voters were there who should not have been the voters of the country. There are more than 2 crore voters in the country who are infiltrators, and the majority route is Bengal and Simanchal, the two places where they enter from. This is on record in the parliament being told by the Mr. Kiran Rijiju. So if that is the case, don't we think that we should ensure that we should put filter, and we should ensure that only Indians should vote, not Bangladeshis and other or Rohingyas or others who have by some sort of mischief entered India and then have made their voter cards also. So it's a process they should rather welcome. Only thing is that they don't want this to happen because they know if this happens, they'll be exposed.
Exposed how? I'll be saying, what are you alleging? What are you alleging? Exposed how?
Because there will be voters who will be not Indians, who will be chucked out of this list. There will be a lot of people who will be identified who will be not Indians, who will be chucked out of this list. Just wait for time. Let this process complete. As I told you, when asked him whether he welcomed it during the Telangana election, and in Hyderabad itself, more than, I give you some figure of 5.4 lakh, if I rightly remember, were deleted from Hyderabad only, from Mr. OIC's constituency only. But that time he was very happy with it. So it is game of suitability, and other thing is they are trying to build up a political narrative.
Yes.
They have to build up a political narrative.
The political narrative is what I'm talking about. Certain systemic issues can definitely be talked about.
Because they think they can do this.
Yes.
So there are other issues they should talk about, and then casting question mark on the constitutional bodies. There's another thing. I mean, every time election commission does anything, they'll cast. And otherwise, they raise so much of questions and they made so much of hue and cry in Maharashtra that the voter list was manipulated. There were votes added at last moment. Now, election commission is doing the work. They are trying to ensure that everything is fair, but they don't want that to happen.
It's like heads I win, tails you lose. Before I go across to Amitabh Tiwari as well.
As I said, the right,
Yes.
Punjabis, viewers will understand, atta gundi hildi kyun hai?
But Adil, I want to go back across to Sham Kumar of the RJD before I bring in Amitabh as well for his expert view. Sham Kumar, the problem is exactly this. It's not so much that there is a constructive debate on how to make the processes better. It almost seems like for example, Rabri Devi, former Chief Minister and top leader of the RJD, told voters in Bihar, not the migrants who are in Punjab, but the voters in Bihar who are very much there and were attending the RJD summit, she told them not to show papers. She told voters that even if you have papers, don't show it to the election commission. That there should be willful defiance of the election commission. I'm just trying to understand how can political parties have this view of a process that is mandated under law?
No, what I get your point, actually there was some technical issue, I was not able to hear properly, but anyway, whatever I got your point, you were talking about the election commission, or I mean BLO will go and collect the data from, the houses, something like that you were asking? Something like that you were asking, please?
Sham Kumar, I am saying that Rabri Devi is on record to say that don't show your papers, even if you have them, don't show it to election commission. How is that justified? Mr. Kumar, can you hear me?
Did not get. Please speak little louder, please.
Sham
please
Kumar.
repeat your question.
Yes.
I would like to reply, please.
Rabri Devi is telling voters in Bihar that defy what the election commission is saying. Don't show papers even if you have them. Is this justified? No, I don't think we have the correct line with him. Let's sort it out, please. Let me go across to Amitabh Tiwari, election strategist, also with us. Do you think there are considerable issues that the election commission may not have looked at, especially, let's say, we talk about the season, the monsoons, anyways, the literacy levels in Bihar, development levels in Bihar, number of people who have the papers, about 20% of the population is a migrant population. Do you think the election commission missed a trick while announcing this serious review, or political parties are making a hue and cry for no reason?
No, see, essentially, there is a trust deficit clearly between the ruling party and the opposition with regards to the role of the election commission. And this I would see in continuation of what has happened in Maharashtra, where the opposition has alleged that the ECI has sort of rigged the election, correct? Where even Rahul Gandhi has written and opened, etc., etc. So there is a trust deficit, and the ECI is, let's say, having to fear the brunt or face the brunt of the opposition here. Now, revision of roles is very natural. It takes place during every election because there are additions, new voters get enrolled, and there are deletions, people who have died or people who have shifted get removed. That's how around 40 lakh people were added to Maharashtra, correct? Now, the special intensive revision has happened 20 years back. The timing can be questioned, whether this time is enough for all the voters of Bihar to furnish their documents. We will have to see only after the people have submitted their documents, correct? It's sort of jumping the gun also. Unless this exercise throws a very high number of ineligible voters, I don't think what the opposition is really charging would be correct. But we have to wait for that process to fructify, correct? We have to see how many voters are actually not eligible to vote now. If that number is high, then only it is alarming. Then we can question the process, the timing, the documents being asked, etc. currently it is premature, but now the ball is in the court of Supreme Court. Correct? The ball is in their court. I think on 10th they are going to decide on this, whether this is correct, not correct, whether the timeline is too short or we need to give more time, etc. Election Commission also, I think, has not communicated very clearly, because they had communicated something else. 1 or 2 days ago they had brought out an ad in a paper.
Yes.
And then again they had clarified in the evening. So I think also the communication has not been very clear from the Election Commission, which is also adding to all this confusion.
This confusion. I want to go back across to Sham Kumar of the RJD, who's joining us. I hope you can hear me this time. He's not with us. Okay, let's try and rearrange that line with him. But RP Singh, the fear of the opposition parties also is that all parties are not taken into confidence. You heard what the AIMIM was saying, that all parties have not been taken into confidence. The Election Commission trust deficit that Amitabh Tiwari is talking about is so high that maybe an attempt can be made by the Election Commission to take all parties into confidence and then go ahead with such exercises.
Well, Shivani, the booth level workers are already working on the job. When only the leader was making hue and cry. They're on the booth level, they are coordinating with the BLOs and working, whether it's the BJP, whether it's RJD, whether it's JDU, whichever party is active on ground, they are working. And if it's not working, then it's their fault. I mean, as per my information, at every booth there is a RJD worker. Congress don't have much of the ground workers there. But yes, RJD workers are there. They're already coordinating and cooperating with the Election Commission machinery. But as I said, they don't even rely on their workers' feedback. They are basically trying to create a narrative, to build up a narrative as they try to build after losing election in Maharashtra. And then my concern is different. Remember, one of their leaders in Jharkhand, one of the in charges who was sent from Jammu Kashmir said, we will give the gas cylinder even to Rohingyas. So that's the mindset. So this has to be fought back. We can't allow our resources to be used or to be misused for the infiltrators. And what is the
Let me just take that to Sham Kumar of the RJD as well. Sham Kumar ji, I hope आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है अब.
It's okay now. Please go ahead.
मैं आपसे ये पूछ रही थी कि राबड़ी देवी ने बयान दिया है बिहार की जनता को कि आपके पास कागज हैं भी तो भी दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है इलेक्शन कमीशन को. अब ऐसा बयानबाजी सीनियर लीडर्स करेंगे तो जनता पे क्या मैसेज जाएगा?
नहीं, देखिए, आप सुनना चाहती हैं ना, इस बात को समझने का प्रयास कीजिए. पूरा जो सिस्टमेटिक जो एक्सक्लूसन जो वोटर्स का है उस पर सवाल है. आप इस सवाल पे आइए कि जो पूरा जो कवायद कोशिश हो रही है वो आनन फानन में बनाई जा रही है. कोई संस्था अगर 1, 2, 3 दिन में भी कोई कार्यक्रम करना होता है उसका पूर्व निर्धारित कार्यक्रम होता है. इतना बड़ा एक्सरसाइज है. प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. डोंट मेक इट मोर मैकेनिकल, एक्सक्लूसिव. स्पीकिंग फ्रॉम न्यू दिल्ली और फ्रॉम बिहार ग्राउंड रियलिटी, दैट काइंड ऑफ क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन. मैंने जैसा कि पहले ही आपको कहा है दैट इफ यू वांट टू मेक थिंग्स मैकेनिकल, दैट्स फाइन. Please make it on the ground. The role of Election Commission is to expand its base for the people. That has to be inclusive. आप इस पे बात कीजिए ना, आप इस पे बात कीजिए.
मैंने जो सवाल किया उसका भी तो जवाब दीजिए.
What way that is going on?
आपके बूथ लेवल के वर्कर नहीं है.
आप जो है आप कागज पत्री में बिहार की मजलूम जनता कहाँ तक निकाल पाएगी, कहाँ पर ला पाएगी? एक बड़ा सवाल है.
आज से 20-22 साल पहले भी हुआ था तो कागज पत्री जो तब भी हुई थी 3 दिन में थे.
जो एजेंडा पर डिस्कस करें
कंप्यूटर नहीं थे तब
क्या हो रहा है. मैंने आपको करने से कौन मना कर रहा है?
सब कुछ है. और आज तो 1 लाख
सबकी योजना प्लानिंग
इलेक्शन कमीशन के लोग नीचे हैं, 1 लाख से ऊपर.
लेकिन आप
उतने ही बाकी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के 1 लाख आपके होंगे, 1 लाख हमारे होंगे, जेडीयू के होंगे, कांग्रेस के होंगे, सब पार्टी के लोग हैं नीचे.
यूनिफॉर्म. माय फर्स्ट टेक ऑन that if you want to making all the rules and regulations from Delhi uniform, you are talking about one nation, one election, You are talking about other so many kind of law. Please make it uniform.
सर आप मुद्दे पे रहिए, मुद्दे से मत भागिए।
So much
वो
of the
समय आएगा उसके बारे में
discussion.
बात
Why only
करेंगे।
Bihar?
आप मुद्दे आप गोलपोस्ट मत शिफ्ट करिए। आप बताइए आपके यहाँ नीचे बूथ लेवल के एजेंट्स हैं या नहीं है, आपके BLAs हैं या नहीं है नीचे, और उनका संपर्क BLO से है
आपको
या
जमीनी
नहीं है?
हकीकत नहीं पता है सर।
कोई एक
मैं
बूथ
सम्मान
बताइए ना
करता
जहाँ
हूँ
पे नहीं हो रहा आपके
आपको
BLA का
जमीनी हकीकत
संपर्क
बिहार का
BLO
पता
से।
नहीं है सर। वहाँ कोसी की नदी में गांव बह जाते हैं, घर बह जाता है, आपको नहीं जानकारी है। आप सीनियर लीडर है, मैं आपका सम्मान करता हूँ। आप बिहार जाइए,
अरे
आप बिहार
सर
घूमिए।
मैं बिहार में काम कर चुका हूँ, मुझे मत बताइए, परंतु जो मूल बात पूछ रहा हूँ वो बताइए।
सर मैं सम्मान करता हूँ आपका,
आपके बूथ
आपका
लेवल
सम्मान
के
करता हूँ।
एजेंट्स
जुलाई
नीचे
का
जमीन
महीना
पे
है, बारिश
या
का
नहीं
मौसम है।
हाँ या ना बताइए। जब बोलिए कि आपके पास लोग ही
सर,
नहीं है जमीन पे,
आप इस बात
आपको
को
हार
समझना
दिख
ही
रही है,
नहीं
इसलिए आप
चाहते।
घबराए हुए
क्या
हैं।
इसे कुछ राजनीतिक कारण है? आप इसका जवाब दीजिए ना सर। आप लोग सत्ता में हैं, आप केंद्र में हैं, राज्य
So
में,
this
इसका
is
जवाब आप
exactly what I was
दीजिए।
asking you, no, Sham
क्या
Kumar.
जल्दीबाजी है?
ये
क्या
हमारा
पता
काम
नहीं
Can I
नहीं
just
है,
come
ये
in?
इलेक्शन
I'll be
कमीशन
saying,
से पूछिए आप।
just allow me to put
इसका
forth my
उत्तर
question.
इलेक्शन कमीशन देगा।
Sham
हमको
Kumar, my
देने की
question to
नहीं
you
है,
was
उसका
exactly
उत्तर
this.
इलेक्शन
If there are
कमीशन देगा। हमारे
certain
तो
systemic
जो
issues
BLA वो
or
नीचे
procession
काम कर रहे हैं
issues,
already।
then you can ask the question. But if you are alluding to political motives, then the counter question will also come to parties as to what is your political motive to object this. Now you said that these rules have been made willy-nilly.
There is no political
one
motive
second.
from our side,
You
I tell
said
you.
that
I
these
tell you.
rules have been made willy-nilly from New Delhi. Sir, I hope you understand that no new rule has been made. As far as this SIR is concerned, it is under existing rules. So what is it that is bothering you today that did not bother you in 2003? That is also a question that will go, right? Bihar was not more advanced 23 years ago than it is today. So this is exactly the problem. If we vilify and vitiate every process, then obviously there will be the trust deficit that Amitabh Tiwari is talking about. If it is about time and other issues, then of course Election Commission has given certain guarantees. We can only look forward to those answers from them. But I'll leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Moving on. A fresh Donald Trump fight is brewing and he now has BRICS in his sight. The US president said in a social media post that any country aligning itself with the anti-American policies of BRICS would face an additional 10% tariff. Trump had threatened that BRICS nations will face a 100% tariff if they so much as even think about reducing the use of the dollar in global trade, as Russia had suggested at one point of time. This brings India in the crosshairs of America again, even as it is negotiating a trade deal. Remember, BRICS include the founding 5 members, Russia, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, but has now expanded to as many as 10 members. BRICS now accounts for 45% of the global population and contributes over 35% of the world's GDP. Amidst this clash on tariffs, what is important for India is also the BRICS statement on terror. Despite Iran and Indonesia's presence and China's influence, India's message on terror was backed by BRICS. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated that Pahalgam was a direct assault on India's dignity, and the BRICS statement too condemned the April 22 attack. PM highlighted how terrorism is one of the gravest threats to humanity. BRICS statement too mentioned how they are committed to combating terror in all forms. And finally, as Prime Minister highlighted once again that countries should not hesitate in imposing sanctions on terrorists, BRICS statement said that countries will combat cross-border terrorism and terror financing and backers as well. Now, the BRICS consensus has irked Trump. The US president has warned of the global South bloc doing what he does best. He has warned of imposing additional 10% tariffs on BRICS nations for aligning with, quote, anti-American policies, while India continues to stand firm on its ground that they will only accept a deal when it is in national interest. Trump has said that there will be no exceptions to policy anymore. While there was no mention of Trump, the BRICS unanimously condemned tariffs and subsequent trade war and discussed global trade. Trump has also claimed that 100% tariffs will be implemented if BRICS members try to undermine the dollar. China, in response, has said that they are against using tariffs as a tool for coercion. Trump has readied 12 letters. We are being told he's all set to send them out in a few hours as the deadline approaches that has been set by him. Here are the countries who are likely to be on the receiving end. European Union has been threatened with 50% taxes on cars and cheese. Germany wants any deal to avoid a disaster, while France refuses to be at the receiving end of quote-unquote a bad deal. Japan may face 35% tariffs, higher than April's 24%. South Korea has begged for extra time, even offering factory partnership. Canada has escaped letters so far, but could pay some additional tariffs. India may get last-minute concession, but the threat, of course, continues to loom. As I said, India and US are in last-stage negotiations of a trade deal. But even as this tariff war is looming, our big focus continues on India's message resonating at BRICS. That also brings us to question, will Chinese double game end? Because remember, they're saying they will act on terror backers and financiers. Then why don't they? That debate is coming up with our guests.
He underlined the Pahalgam attack, terror attack, is an onslaught on the entire humanity.
नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, भारत के हितों को संरक्षण करना, ये मोदी सरकार का पहला ध्येय रहता है। ये हमारी प्राथमिकता रहती है और आप सबको कोई चिंता करने की बात नहीं है।
我们对金砖机制的一个看法，我们觉得金砖机制是国际上的一个积极力。
They'll be going out on Monday, and some will go out on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we've made deals also. So we're going to have a combination of letters, and some deals have been made.
Let's go across to Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow, ORF, joining us. Aina Tangjan is Senior Fellow of the Tahe Institute. He will also be with us very shortly. Sushant, how do you read into the BRICS statement? I mean, it's laughable at one end, but do you think it gives us any hope that there will be some course correction from countries like China, who have often backed not just Pak-sponsored terror, but also terror backers and financiers in Pakistan?
Unfortunately, no, Shivani. I don't think we should be under any illusion that these statements actually reflect the policies of various countries. A lot of it is a virtue signaling and, just diplomatic wrangling at the summits, get a text out. So while we can't quibble about the text in and of itself, the fact is that will it change the calculus of various countries? Now, the Chinese, for example, have been putting technical holds on even the naming and shaming of dreaded terrorists. Yes. People who the Chinese themselves will never allow entry into their own country. They will not allow a Hafiz Saeed, a Masood Azhar, Sajid Mir to come into their own country. Even by the Chinese definition, these guys are terrorists. But because they want to, give some kind of a leeway to their all-brother friend Pakistan, they will not allow the designation of some of these characters. Similarly, we've seen these kind of double standards, and it's not just about the Chinese. We've seen these double standards even in Western countries.
Yes.
So I think at one level, everybody will say the right things about fighting against terrorism, cooperating against terrorism, putting together various resources, intelligence, information to crack down on terror groups, not allowing state-sponsored terrorism to flourish. And yet, when it comes to individual countries, they will do business with countries which are doing all of the above without any compunctions. So I think that is the world we are going to be living in. Each country will have to fight the menace of terrorism on its own. And if you can manage to get some support because you face the same enemy, okay, fine. Otherwise, I think everybody's on their own on fighting terrorism.
The statement is
die together actually.
The statement is coming only a few days.
Metastasizing, and this is going to hit everybody. It's going to hit Chinese. It's going to hit the Russians. It has already hit them. It's going to hit us. It's hitting the Pakistanis who have been the originators of it. It's hit the Americans. It's going to hit the Europeans. It's going to hit everybody. Yeah. So anybody who thinks that they're going to remain immune from it, insulated from it, they have another thought coming, but by then it'll be too late.
You know, interestingly, this statement is coming after what the Quad also said, even though earlier we couldn't get these statements passed, or at least the UN's view has been slightly different. But the SCO couldn't pass a statement on Pahalgam attack and try to, get its Pakistani-Chinese angle in. But the Quad did, and now the BRICS has. Do you think the Chinese will also be understanding of the issue that in this new world, they also cannot push India away too much? I mean, you look at this whole tariff things that is playing out. Several noted thinkers, even American thinkers, have pointed about how India cannot rely on America, and therefore efforts should continue between India and China to have the relationship that they have. I won't call it a friendship, but do you think Chinese also realize this?
Look, at one level, I think it serves the Chinese interests, whether they realize it or not. Because what are the Chinese telling us? Let's not talk about the border clashes. Let's not talk about tensions on the border. Let's not try and solve these issues. Don't ask for any thing on the issue of terrorism. And let's keep doing trade and let's keep talking about commerce, right? That's what they've been plugging. And that's a line we have been resisting, because we say that this relationship will not go very far if we are not going to solve some of the more, problems, the bigger problems between the two of us. Okay. Now, at one level, that's playing into the Chinese hand. At another level, I think all countries want to look for some kind of, a fallback arrangement, because the Americans are behaving like, it's like a crazy government gone crazy. There's a capricious president who, one day he wakes up 10% tariff here, the next day he says 25 there, then he says, okay, 15 for you, 10 out there. That's not how the most powerful country in the world is supposed to behave.
Okay. So, Sham, just hold your thought. Unfortunately, NR Tangan has joined us very late. I do have only a couple of minutes for him now. NR, my question to you is, despite this BRICS statement, there is a feeling in India that China doesn't do enough. In fact, it goes the other way when it comes to protecting Pakistan-backed cross-border terrorism against India, the designation of global terrorists that emanate from Pakistan. Why is it that the Chinese feel that they continue to do so? Because as before you joined us, Sushant Sareen was mentioning how terrorism is going to be the bane of all of humanity. Chinese are not going to be able to insulate themselves.
Well, I think the Chinese would agree with you, not in terms of doing more, but the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, of which both Pakistan and India and China are part of, was exactly created for that reason, as to combat terrorism. But you have to use the mechanism. You can't say, I'm going to act unilaterally when I'm part of a multilateral group. It would have been far better for India to have proven to its case internationally, beyond a reasonable doubt, with its peers, whoever was behind this. And if it was a state actor,
India did this for 2611. Einar, India has done this repeatedly, again and again, and it has not, even China hasn't done enough to actually.
You keep saying that China hasn't done enough.
It hasn't done enough in even allowing the normal processes, even at the UNSC, to take effect. So I don't think that message is going anywhere from China, that follow the processes. Following the processes isn't going anywhere.
All right. So what we have here is a situation where the U.S. is not being nice to India, despite the fact that India has, in essence, been playing footsie with Washington. And now all of a sudden, China hasn't done enough.
No, it's not all of a sudden at all. It's not all of a sudden at all. Einar, you've been part of our debates for many years. It's not all of a sudden at all. We know Chinese efforts to block the designation of Pakistani terrorists.
No, you're trying to change the argument. What has happened here, I was asked to talk about BRICS. And at BRICS, what you have is a statement by all of the BRICS saying that the U.S. is acting irrationally. And then you call on the program and you want to say this is somehow China's fault.
No, one second. The BRICS statement. The BRICS statement also talked about. One second, Einar. The BRICS statement also talked about condemning Pahalgam attack in Jammu and Kashmir and acting against cross-border terrorism and acting against the backers and financiers of terrorism. That's the question I'm posing to China, not on the US.
It did not specifically mention Jammu and Kashmir. What it mentioned is that they want a cessation to the unilateral actions that are out there. They want to stop terrorism. So everybody is in agreement. The issue is how to combat terrorism effectively. And that is the only issue that is out there. If you say that India's tried and it doesn't work, what are the logical end game? You're going to start wars with a nuclear armed country? You say, oh, that shouldn't be an impediment. But you're playing with humanity's future, not just India and Pakistan.
I'm wondering why that lecture is coming to India and not going to Pakistan when it actually breeds terrorism and terrorists against us. I've run out of time though, Einar. Unfortunately, you've joined us a little bit late.
They feel the same
show. But this message truly should be going to those who are backing terrorism. As Prime Minister says, victims of terrorism and sponsors of terrorism cannot be equated. This is exactly the duplicity that India is talking about. But moving on, Akashdeep, the Indian cricketer, played a match-winning role in India's 336-run victory over England in Birmingham, and he dedicated his 10-wicket haul to his sister, who's been battling cancer for the last 2 months. We spoke to his sister and also his family. Listen. I want to go across to the family of Akashdeep. Joining us from Lucknow, Akashdeep's sister Akhand Jyoti Singh and Akashdeep's brother-in-law Nitish Singh are joining us. Akhand Jyoti Singh, Nitish ji, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
जी आ रही है।
पहली बात तो बहुत-बहुत बधाई हो। आकाशदीप की जो परफॉर्मेंस है वो पूरे देश में, पूरी दुनिया में उसकी परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में बात हो रही है। आपकी क्या बात हुई आकाशदीप से, कैसे आपने कांग्रेचुलेट किया, आप बताइए।
हम लोग बहुत खुश हैं। शाम को मैच के बाद जब अपने रूम में पहुंचे तो फिर हम लोगों से बात करा उन्होंने, और रियली बहुत खुश थे और हम लोग भी बहुत खुश थे, और हम लोगों ने बधाई दिया और बोला कि जो है अपने 8वें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मैच में ही उन्होंने इतना बड़ा कमाल करके दिखाया है, जो कि 10 विकेट्स हॉल है। ये हम लोग के लिए बहुत बड़ी खुशी की बात है, बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है। रियली बहुत प्राउड फील कर रहा है।
एब्सोल्युटली, पूरा देश बहुत खुश है। ज्योति जी, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि आपने एक्सपेक्ट किया था कि आकाशदीप आपको ये सरप्राइज देंगे? आप कैंसर की लड़ाई लड़ रही हैं और आकाश जी ने आप जो इतनी बड़ी जीत जो भारत की हुई है वो आपके नाम करी है, क्या आपने एक्सपेक्ट किया था?
हमने ऐसा एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया, पर मेरे लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है कि आकाश ने अपने जीवन का सबसे महत्वपूर्ण विकेट मेरे लिए समर्पित की है। मेरे लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है।
तो आपने जब सुना कि उन्होंने ऐसा बोला मैच के बाद, तो आपको क्या बहुत सारे कॉल्स आ रहे थे? क्योंकि आपकी कैंसर से जो लड़ाई चल रही है वो शायद बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं थी, लेकिन उन्होंने रिवील किया, उन्होंने ये भी बताया कि वो बहुत भावुक हो गए थे और अपने आप को रोक नहीं पाए आपकी लड़ाई के बारे में बात करने से।
नहीं, वो किसी से बताए नहीं थे, हम लोग भी नहीं बताए थे, पर वो अभी उस समय अपने आप को रोक नहीं पाए थे, नहीं पाए कि नहीं बताना, पर बता दिए वो। ये मैंने बोला था कि आप अपने करियर पे ध्यान दो, हम बिल्कुल ठीक है, डॉक्टर बोले हम ठीक हो जाएंगे, वो भी जान रहे हैं कि ठीक हो जाएंगे। वो बहुत मतलब घर के फैमिली को बहुत प्यार करते हैं और बचपन से ही उनके कंधे पे ऊपर भार आ गया हम लोगों का, अभी भी वही करते हैं सब। और पूरे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी उन्हीं के ऊपर है हम लोगों का। आकाश जब छोटे थे तभी पापा का सेहत अच्छा नहीं रहता था, बीमारी रहते थे, फिर पैरालिसिस हो गया, 2-3 साल बेड पे रहे, तो वो शुरू से ही मैच्योर टाइप पे हम लोग का हैंडल करते रहते थे, शुरू से ही, बचपन से ही।
उन्होंने कितनी मेहनत करी? ज्योति जी, नीतीश जी, आप दोनों बताइए कितनी मेहनत गई है, क्योंकि फैमिली को भी देखना था। जहां से आप आते हैं बिहार से, वहां पे क्रिकेट का इतना था नहीं, क्रिकेट की तो एसोसिएशन भी बिहार की है जो है वो बैन हो चुकी है, तो बिहार के क्रिकेटर्स को इतना अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलता है डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट में, तो कितना संघर्ष करना पड़ा?
देखिए, आकाश डेफिनेटली उनका बचपन से ही क्रिकेट काफी तरह जो है इनका इंटरेस्ट रहा, और उसको आगे इन्होंने खेलते गए और बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म, लोकली बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म करते थे। फिर 2016 में दिल्ली आए थे, तो दिल्ली सोनेट एकेडमी और कई एकेडमी में भी इनके ट्रायल दिए थे, तो इनको वहाँ सेलेक्ट किया गया था। उसके बाद जब बंगाल गए हैं तो बंगाल भी इनको दुर्गापुर से, और बंगाल क्रिकेट एसोसिएशन का भी बार बार डीडी अपने आप को बताते हैं कि नहीं, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा मुझे प्लेटफॉर्म दिया। फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में ट्रायल करके अंडर 23 में इनका सिलेक्शन हुआ, उसके बाद वहाँ भी बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया, इनको फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट बंगाल ने खिलाया इनको, और रणजी में इनको अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म दिया, और रणजी मैच में इन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छा परफॉर्म किया। डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट में एज ए बॉलर इनका बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस रहा है, 28 मैचेस में 115 विकेट्स हैं इनके। और उसके बाद इंग्लैंड, इनका फॉर्चुनेटली इनका जो फर्स्ट इन्होंने डेब्यू किया है इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट में, इंग्लैंड के वर्ष में किया, लास्ट ईयर रांची में किया था। उन्होंने उस मैच में बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया था। इंस्पाइट ऑफ मतलब फैमिली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बहुत ही अच्छा उसको हैंडल करते हुए और आगे बढ़े हैं। और फैमिली में हम लोग लुक आफ्टर करते हैं सभी का, और बाकी उनको बोलते हैं डोंट वरी, तुम अपना आगे बढ़ो, खेलते रहो। इंग्लैंड दौरे पे जाने से पहले जो है हम लोग एयरपोर्ट पे, चूंकि उनकी मदर भी हमारे साथ है और वो भी यही है, तो हम एयरपोर्ट में वो सी ऑफ करने गए थे, वो लुक आफ्टर करने के लिए लखनऊ आई है, सी ऑफ करने के लिए। हम लोग बोले तुम चिंता न करना, अपने परफॉर्मेंस फोकस करना, और देश के लिए जब भी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले तुम जो है फुल एफर्ट लगा के खेलना, ताकि देश के नाम रोशन करना और जितना हो सके मैक्सिमम कंट्रीब्यूशन अपने कंट्री के लिए करना।
माता जी भी कुछ 2 शब्द बोलना चाहेंगी क्या नीतीश जी?
आशीर्वाद देती रहती हूँ।
माता जी कितनी खुशी है आज?
बहुत खुशी।
तो आपके बढ़ावे से आकाशदीप इतने आगे बढ़ पाए हैं। क्या बोला आपने आकाशदीप को जब उनसे बात हुई फोन पे?
और अच्छा खेलो, 10 विकेट लेते रहो, इंडिया का नाम रोशन करते रहो।
जी
बहुत लगाव था क्रिकेट से। पिताजी के मना करने पर स्कूल चले जाते थे तो छुप छुप में खेलते थे।
जी आप अपने भाई के बारे में कुछ बताइए हमें, जो दुनिया नहीं जानती हो शायद।
मेरे लिए बहुत क्लोज हैं वो, और हम लोगों को तीनों बहनों को बहुत चाहते हैं और अपने क्रिकेट से बहुत प्रेम करते हैं।
ये जो उनको अभी रिसेंटली जो बैक इंजरी भी हुई थी, उसके बाद वापस आने में कितना मुश्किल हुआ, किस तरह का उनको एफर्ट करना पड़ा अपनी बैक इंजरी से वापस आने में?
ये बैक इंजरी थी, लेकिन बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी। एमआरआई हुई थी, उसके बाद रिहैब के लिए एनसीए में थे, तो उस टाइम पे लगता था कि कितना टाइम लगेगा, बट बहुत अपने हार्ड वर्क और डिसिप्लिन में बहुत ज्यादा बिलीव करते हैं। और उसके बाद थर्ड वन के अपने गॉड में बिलीव करते हैं, बोला जो होगा देखा जाएगा। अपने उस पर फिर उन्होंने अच्छा काम किया और बहुत जल्दी रिकवर होके फिर तुरंत आईपीएल के चौथे मैच में एलएसजी ज्वाइन कर लिए।
नहीं तो इट्स वेरी गुड दैट ही हैज बीन एबल टू प्ले सो वेल फॉर इंडिया। बट आप कुछ शेयर करना चाहेंगे ज्योति जी कि बचपन में जब वो सपने देखते थे, उनका सपना था कि भारत के लिए खेलेंगे, भारतीय टीम के लिए खेलेंगे, क्या करेंगे, बचपन से ही ये सोचते थे?
वो बचपन से ही सोचते थे कि मतलब मेरे को कुछ बड़ा करना है, कुछ अच्छा करना है और कुछ नाम कमाना है।
2007 का जो T20 का वर्ल्ड कप इंडिया जीता था, उससे बहुत ज्यादा इंस्पायर्ड।
ओके, बट वो टेस्ट क्रिकेट में ज्यादा फोकस करते थे या T20 क्रिकेट से भी बहुत?
पहले T20 नहीं था, फर्स्ट T20 वर्ल्ड कप हुआ था 2007 में, तो उसका फाइनल इंडिया जीता था। तो वहां से T20 और वनडे और टेस्ट, इनका तीनों फॉर्मेट में जो है इंटरेस्ट है और अच्छा खेलते हैं।
नहीं बिल्कुल, तो आप कह रहे हैं कि जो 2007 की जो वर्ल्ड कप वर्ल्ड T20 की जो जीत हुई थी, उससे उनको और भी हुआ कि भाई मुझे भी क्रिकेट खेलना है।
उससे इंस्पायर्ड होके कि मुझे क्रिकेट खेलना है और क्रिकेट में आगे बढ़ना है, क्योंकि क्रिकेट के प्रति लोगों का इतना इंडिया के अंदर रुझान है, लोगों का इतना इंटरेस्ट है, तो उससे लगता है कि नहीं क्रिकेट क्या चीज है और उसी में हमको आगे निकलना है। और उसको अच्छा खेलते भी थे
जी
एज ऑलराउंडर।
जी नहीं बिल्कुल, 10 wicket haul is no mean feat, especially in England, and certainly that played a huge role as far as India's win is concerned. A lot of faith that was put in Akashdeep was repaid by him with this spectacular performance, and we can only hope that he continues in this vein if India has to, of course, get one more Test series win under their belt in England. ज्योति जी, जाते जाते मैं आपकी सेहत के बारे में भी पूछना चाहती हूँ। आपने बताया कि आपका इलाज अच्छा चल रहा है, आपकी लड़ाई अभी कब तक जारी रहेगी, कितना इलाज बाकी है, आप बताइए।
नवंबर तक जारी रहेगी, अभी नवंबर तक चलेगा इलाज। जी,
तो आपकी क्या इलाज चल रहा है? आपका कीमोथेरेपी चल रहा है?
कीमोथेरेपी चल रहा है।
अच्छा,
6 मंथ तक चलना है, 1 मंथ हो गया और 5 मंथ चल रहा है।
बट आप कह रहे हैं कि आपका जो डॉक्टर जो बता रहे हैं सब ठीक है, मतलब इलाज सही हो रहा है?
हाँ, सब नॉर्मल है, सब नॉर्मल,
सर्जरी सक्सेसफुल है।
Brought to you by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Let's begin with our top focus story now. This is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive. This is on the rift between Pakistan's political class and terror groups, with the Pakistani army now seemingly supporting the former Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Now, why are we saying that? This is as per top intelligence sources that have suggested to CNN News 18 that Bilawal's recent stance on extraditing designated terrorists like Hafiz Saeed and Masood Azhar to India suggests a consensus within Pakistan's political leadership. Sources have also suggested that the political class, including Bilawal's Pakistan People's Party, is striving for international legitimacy, particularly in compliance with the FATF mandates. And sources are also indicative of the fact that Bilawal has highlighted the dismantling of over 900 terror groups and institutions and asset seizures, and also arrests as evidence of Pakistan's changing stance. Now, despite Pakistan's efforts, sources are also revealing that the groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed have historically served as tools for plausible deniability in Kashmir operations. So, big development there that is coming in from Pakistan, where there seems to be a great divide when it is about the consensus on whether to support terror infrastructure, terror groups, and what has been the recent stance of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari.
इंटरनेशनल न्यूज़ चैनल को इंटरव्यू देते हुए बिलावल ने जो बातें की, भारतीय सहाफ़ी के सवालात के जो जवाबात दिए, हकीकत में वो जवाब बनते नहीं थे, जिससे हम सब की पूरी पाकिस्तानी कौम की दिल आज़ारी हुई है। लेकिन आज हमारे सियासतदान उनके मुंह में ज़ुबान दुश्मनों की हो और वो किसी भी पाकिस्तानी को दुश्मन के यानी हिंदुस्तान के हवाले करने की ऑफर्स करते फिरें, चे जाए कि पाकिस्तान की एक मोतबर शख्सियत मेरे वालिद मोहतरम हाफिज़ मोहम्मद सईद हफिज़हुल्लाह के बारे में ये अंदाज और ये बातें इख्तियार की जाएं।
Let me take this across to our colleague Anand Narsimhan, who is joining us live from the CNN News 18 newsroom. Anand, we were just playing out that reaction of Hafiz Saeed's son. He is, of course, dissing this entire stance by Bilawal Bhutto, but Zardari's stance has found a lot of support in Pakistan. How does one dissect this dynamics, particularly with the power play when it is to do with the Pakistan army?
Good afternoon, Grehan. Good afternoon to our viewers. How firmly are the army, the political establishment and the terror networks entwined with each other in Pakistan is evident from the fact that Hafiz Saeed's son, a proscribed terrorist, and his organization's de facto leader now, that's also a proscribed terrorist organization, Lashkar-e-Taiba's de facto leader, Talha Saeed, Hafiz Saeed's son, sits there and takes Bilawal's name as in first name. Talks to him as if he is some ordinary person on whom he can put a target and he can take him out. He is Bilawal Bhutto, the former foreign minister of Pakistan. He comes from the entire Bhutto family, and this is how these terror tanzeems consider Pakistani politicians. And look at the tone that's adopted. And he's sitting there and overtly trying to threaten Bilawal Bhutto for taking Hafiz Saeed's name and saying that if there are nations that want their extradition for terror acts of terror, then we will be amenable to it. The crux of this is that there is clearly friction now between the polity, the army, and also the terror tanzeems. Some of these terror tanzeems now are beyond their use date and beyond their sell-by date, and perhaps the Pakistan. Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan, and we start with the CNN News 18 exclusive and a story that Bharat needs to sit up and take note of. Bharat has actually taken robust action to counter threats from abroad and safeguard its borders. Operation Sindoor has set that red line that Bharat is ready to protect its territory and sovereignty. But what about the threat from within? Targeting the weak and vulnerable and eroding the social fabric of Bharat from within, with the aim to poison youth and